Hey everyone, what you're about to watch is the most valuable segments from my weekly Q&A, where new and experienced recruiters get together to ask questions and solve problems. If you want to join the next one, just click on the link in the description to join. It's completely free. You don't need to give me your email address, telephone number, or anything like that. And I'll personally be there to answer any of your questions. Oh, and I've also put together this recruitment starter pack for those in the beginning of their journey, which tells you exactly how to get your first client. You can grab that once you're in our community for free as well. All right, then let's get back into the video.
What you need to start a recruitment agency is actually not a lot. You don't need. I started my company with about £800. That's give or take. That's how much I started with, and that consisted of a. I started on Microsoft Excel, so I didn't have a CRM. So I was like, I said to myself, I'm not going to get a CRM until I make money, because CRMs are quite pricey, especially the one I was going for. So I started with Microsoft Excel, made a website very cheap, about £100, no more than £100. Logo, 20 quid. Telephone line, I used one that I recommended actually today on the group, which is Cloud Phone. Is a VoIP over the internet kind of course, which was about £10 to £12 a month. And then you've got an email address, cost you about £6, £7 a month. And that's literally all you need at the beginning to start an agency. And once you do get any roles, if you don't have a solid method of building a database, then you'd invest in like a what's it called again? CV Library, Read, one of those one of those job boards. Yeah, that's what I started with. Anyone else wants to add anything? What they started with, or what their costings were?
I had a lot of costs when I started. I made a bit of a mistake. Obviously, as everyone knows, we work together, and I
Yeah.
was like, I need to have that same company. I even went to the extent of having the same computer. I was like, I need to have
Wow.
like this computer, Lenovo. You remember the Lenovo, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, I need to have Eclipse. I need to have 3CX, and I need to just do everything. And that's where I went wrong. I'm being honest. When I looked at my costs and I thought, hang on, I'm paying this much. I don't need this or I don't need that. So that's my best advice is when you start is look at the cost, because that's the first thing you should do is obviously try and keep your cost to a minimum. As you make placements, then start to invest as you go along and keep saving a bit like to the side, and also obviously reinvest in for maybe a job board or technology or something eventually. But you don't need to do everything at the start.
Agreed. And someone said client acquisition for recruitment agencies for healthcare method recommendation, please. How to build a database of potential clients. It depends, because a lot of people I'm hearing or I'm kind of noticing in the groups to saying healthcare. Healthcare is very, very broad. Like you've got it's a huge spectrum from one end to the other. So it depends what kind of healthcare niche are you talking about. But again, if I can give you advice based on how I started. Okay, GP, care homes, pharmacies, which is pretty much the same thing. There are so many online. You find a lot of free websites. Asa, do you remember the care home website? There's a care home website that's
Yeah,
really good to use.
yeah, I can share it. I'll share it.
Yeah, if you share it
Is it for clients? He wants clients.
for clients, yeah,
Yeah, I'll
client
share it.
acquisition, yeah.
I'll
So
share
this website Asad's about to share with you literally is a gold mine. It's got pretty much every single care home in England. All you got to do is, again, it's tedious, but you can use scrapers softwares as well. I can share with you guys a couple that I recommend that you could just use to just scrape everything on those websites. Otherwise, one second.
It's got about 16,000 care homes, and it's even got a vacancies page. So, the care homes that are active on that website, they have like a job board where they post their vacancies.
Yeah,
I do have a question. Good evening, everyone. This is Ahmed from Nigeria.
good evening.
All right, so I do have a question actually, because when I initially started, I watched the previous group, the guy that owned the previous group, trying to recollect his name. I can't remember his name now. Cards. I watched Cards video, and that was like already had something running in the Philippines, but I didn't really understand how the UK market worked. So I was looking to break in. For the Philippines, the way I got clients was I partnered with someone that was a native there. Then we had him do all of the legwork. I previously worked with a recruitment agency. I knew all of the companies he had to go to. Sorry, can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh,
We all
it
can.
looked like everyone was frozen, so I had to
We
be.
are we are listening attentively.
All right, great. So in the Philippines, I previously worked with a recruitment agency that was based out there. So I kind of partnered with one of the candidates that I placed. He registered the company in his name and all. Then I showed him how to go about reaching out to the client. And for the client base, it's pretty easy because they need like loads of people. Like you see like 1,000 people, they need like up to 1,000 people or more on a monthly basis. So they just take recruitment agency like that. But for the UK, it seems different. So when I was trying to start out in the UK, I I did the lead thing. I did everything manually. I went on the website, used the contact out. I used several of these things to try to get their emails and stuff. And at the end of 3 days, I was able to get 85 leads. I sent them emails, and it was quite stressful. And something I also noticed is that the emails I sent were not. I didn't get a very good response, or I don't know if it's that the fact that I've not tested it well enough, but I would love to see some of the emails that you guys use to reach out to clients. I don't know if that would be helpful in helping me in my own email outreach as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to share. If you want, you can put your email address in, if you don't mind sharing your email
Chat.
address in the chat, yeah. And then what I can do
All right.
is I can just give you like a template email that I would say I find it very quite it's been very I mean, sorry, it's been working a lot for me in terms of the responses that we get. Again, I think I broke it down last week, which is like it consists of just the competencies, the availability, and the experience. If you and this is client outreach, right? So this is when you're reaching out to clients trying to win
Yeah,
some
for client.
contracts.
Yeah, for client outreach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Public client.
for client outreach, as long as you keep it, yeah, and a good subject line too, as I just mentioned, is very important because and change it up every now and then so you just don't end up in spam and don't just send out the same email uh
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much.
all the time.
So,
Yeah. Okay, I'm happy to share like some templates with you, and then you can tweak that according to the niche that you're in. Yeah, anyone else also share
I'd really appreciate that.
shares their email address. Yeah, I'll just
Yeah,
forward it to you guys as well.
Yeah,
yeah, no problem. I really appreciate that. So
someone's
I was actually looking up to like, all right, so someone else is going.
no,
Asad,
you carry
you
on,
can go on.
you carry on. I thought you finished.
All
Carry on.
right, so I was actually looking forward to today's session because after I did that outreach a while back, I was kind of lost because of the kind of response I was getting. I was either getting no response or response from client that they were not interested or they don't use recruitment agency, and it was kind of discouraging. So when we had the session last week, we said we are going to do something similar to client outreach. So that really got me excited, and I said after that class, then after the Q&A today, then I was going to get straight to business then. I
Yeah.
was really looking forward to it.
Okay, cool. So what I'll do after our Q&A, I'll send you the client outreach template emails that I use. And yeah, hopefully this should work for you because what sector is it and what is it that you what kind of clients are you reaching out to?
Well, I'm looking to try out the GP, the general practice for healthcare, because
Okay.
you mentioned it sometime last week. Initially,
Yeah.
when I wanted to start, I was looking at the PPO industry as well, because that's the niche I'm so used to. I know how that works.
PPE, yeah?
No, BPO I said when I initially started out, I
Yes.
was going to look at the BPO industry, that is the call center industry and all. But someone yeah on the call last week mentioned that clients are not going to give you roles that they can easily post on Indeed or other websites to get
True.
where they can easily get them. Yeah. So I was looking to niche
Do-
down into healthcare and start from healthcare, then I would expand and just try my hands on different things and see what works.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think Assad mentioned last week as well. And I think I don't know, were you part of Venture Assad when you guys did the office recruitment? And
Yeah.
it's quite hard, isn't it? Office recruitment.
Yeah, because the thing is, obviously with recruitment, we're specialists at the end of the day. So although some of the roles are easy to fill, like the warehouse and stuff like that, but generally speaking, if you go for like the entry level roles, if they can find them themselves, they'll, the people know about Indeed and these websites, and LinkedIn is very powerful. So a lot of the companies, they'll just post on there and they'll get like hundreds of applications. So it's not the roles that you want to be really filling are not the impossible roles, obviously, but the ones that require an element of time and effort that they don't that the hiring managers directly don't have the time to do. So they're the ones that you want to work on, and obviously the candidates that are not easy to find on like just from a job posting. You have to have access to the job boards, your own database, etc. So yeah, in a nutshell, the easier roles like if you had a call center, telesales, or basic like telesales role, whatever, a lot of the companies they'll get the applicants directly. That's my experience.
Nice. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, so it's just basically be a specialist in a certain field, or if you are a bit of a generalist, then you're probably working on volume.
Yeah.
Nice. Is
Yeah,
anyone else doing? Go on, continue.
yeah, I just thank you very much, everyone, for the input.
No, you're most welcome. Is anyone else doing any other sort of sectors as well, apart from healthcare? We've got quite a lot of healthcare in here. Just trying to get a variety, see what else is everyone is doing. I've got someone that sent their email address as Unity Hire. What is that yourself or?
I know, sorry, that's me, Abdullahi.
Okay, Abdullah.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, I decided to set it up as Unity High because remember I said last week I was going for a more of a general approach. But now, like I'm trying to think about how to niche down to something. So
Okay.
Unity Hire was what I thought to set up the recruitment agency as, and then have a few domains and say that we cover a few sectors. So then now I'm just trying to think about niching down to one thing. So I don't know if might change it for me to hide something else.
Okay. Okay. And what is it that you currently have you started, or you just you're in
So I
the early
started.
stages?
Sorry, it was early stages, and I'm just trying to basically. Sorry, you can hear a lot of noise in the background. I've got my family.
No, we
People.
can't hear you. We can't even hear you.
Oh, perfect. So yeah, now in terms of I'm still in the early stages. I was basically trying to just mostly do cold calling, without doing an email outreach, which, because I thought, I'm great on the phone. I could, uh, I'll be able to, find that a lot easier. But now I'm just basically trying to learn the email outreach process, which I'm trying to watch Cad's video. And then also I noticed you had a YouTube channel as well, so I was trying to go on there as well to see whatever I could pick up from there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as I said, I think it was last week as well. In terms of advices, you're going to just get like a bit of contradicting advices from every recruiter that you speak to. So just kind of take everyone's advice and try to implement it in a way that works for yourself, for your company, and then try to grow from there. Especially like as you said, you're potential. You do cold calling, right?
Well, yeah, that was my preferred way in terms of
Getting new clients.
reaching out to clients.
What
But
what are the results so far from cold calling?
so with cold calling, I feel like with email with the emails, I think it's probably much better because with cold calling, although I get through to someone, but it's the follow up. I still have to go back to the emails, and then that could be ignored. But at least with the emails, if someone was to respond, then I feel like you're much more ahead. They know what you're reaching out for, and you're able to progress quicker. But with cold calling, you get a positive response or you speak to the right person, and then you have to then go back to the emails again, which might get ignored. So far, I
Yeah.
haven't really been successul.
So cold calls a lot of the times always lead back to emails. So what I
Right.
tend to do if you or what I would advise is if you're going to cold call, a lot of times you get hold through to the manager or the decision maker or whoever the person that you need to speak to will then just kind of fob you up like, okay, send me an email. That's the typical kind of response that they give you. So if you can send an email prior to calling them, so then you can be like, hey, I'm just giving you a quick call. I've sent you an email. I'm just following up from my email. And if you've got a minute, and you can have a look at the email whilst I'm on the phone to you, and I'm happy to sort of kind of go through it with you. And then that way, they can't fob you off. They can't be like, send me an email. Does that make sense? Because you've already sent them the email. You're
Yeah,
saying to them
that
what
actually makes a lot of sense.
yeah, so you're on the phone to them saying, let's go through it through the email. And
Yeah.
that's why I would say it's more beneficial than, again, this is subject to you having their email address. And if you don't, what you need to do is try to get their email address. Once you get the email address, send them an email and then follow up with a call. And then the
Okay.
call is a little bit warmer as well. Like, hey, I'm just give me a call following from my email.